In the previous chapter, we witnessed Luffy's ultimate victory over Kaido, as well as Momonosuke successfully preventing Onigashima from falling. The pirates celebrated their triumph after defeating 2 emperors. However, after the fight, Momonosuke descended to the people, but they misunderstood him for Kaido. Soon the samurais arrived, surprising everyone. Kyoshiro exclaimed, "We have brought the new Shogun of Wano." Now chapter 1051 begins. As people ran, someone shouted, "There's no need to run! Stop!" Apparently that big dragon wasn't Lord Kaido. Another person questioned, "Wait, there are 2 dragons? What does that mean?" Someone else asked, "What's happening in front of the castle? Why is Komurasaki here? Boss Kyoshiro, what does this mean?" A person from the back chimed in, "You 2 are famous, but I wonder if anyone here remembers the rest of us." Confusion spread among the crowd. Suddenly Kinemon appeared, and someone exclaimed, "What? I thought he was dead. Didn't he perish in the flames of Odin Castle that fateful day? Why is he here? Is this just a dream? Is this the afterlife? When did we die?" Another person replied, "No. Who cares if it's a dream or whatever? It's not just me, right? Something monumental is happening." Someone urged, "Prepare the light scrolls. We have to let all of Wano know." Raizo entered, followed by Cat Viper and other samurais appearing one by one. Someone joyfully exclaimed, "It was them! The Akazaya 9! I thought they had all died 20 years ago, but Lady Toki's words were true." Meanwhile, in each area of Wano, people watched the event through light scrolls, and confusion engulfed everyone. Someone remarked, "Something has happened in the capital. Does it have something to do with that earthquake? I thought the whole realm was going to crumble down. Everyone, into town. They are showing the capital. We have more important things than that signal." Another person said, "What's going on? There's a signal coming in from the flower capital. Put it on the light scroll." Meanwhile, on Onigashima, Frankie expressed surprise, saying, "You are Kaido's son? What? You mean there's still more fighting to do?" Yamato replied, No, I am not your enemy. In fact, I have been following all of your exploits in the newspaper. I have to say I wasn't sure how many of you were actually human, but you all seem pretty normal." Frankie retorted, "What about your horns, then? Kaido's?" Yamato smiled and said, "At any rate, I am going to be joining you on your ship. I am Kozuki Odin, otherwise known as Yamato. Nice to meet you." Nami and Usopp were shocked, and Frankie exclaimed, "On our crew?" Meanwhile, Brook and Sanji were the happiest, and Robin smiled, saying, "You are a funny one." Jinbei stated, "It's nice of you to invite yourself aboard, but it's the captain who decides that." Yamato replied, "That's true. I hope Luffy's all right. I got the shivers watching him fight and seeing what he did." Yamato noticed pirates attempting to run away and shouted, "Hey, who said you could turn away?" The pirates replied as they ran, "We don't want to be slaves, young master." Jinbei observed, "Well, I don't sense any particular hostility." Yamato commanded, "Yeah, you goons, shut up and stay there." Usopp inquired, "Say, what happens with those guys?" Scene shifted and Tama said, "Once the moon comes back around, my jutsu will wear off. After a month, some animals go back to the way they were, but some of them will stay my friend." Usopp theorized, "I bet they choose whichever they feel more comfortable with." Hamlet hugged Tama and said, "Master, I am so much happier with you." Tama joyfully replied, "I hope you stay with me too, Horselina, but not like a servant, more like a mommy. I hope you stay with me forever." Hamlet and Nami were happy and shocked in that moment. Usopp exclaimed, "Look at that! Komurasaki and Kin's group are all kneeling. Who is that?" The scene shifted, and all the samurais bent down as they welcomed someone, and a voice was heard. 20 years have passed since the death of my father, Kozuki Odin." All pirates were shocked to hear the word father. He continued, "I am so glad that you have survived these long, difficult years. The fire festival is not ending. Starting tomorrow, you may do whatever business you like. You may drink to your heart's content. You will not pay for water from the earth. No poison from factories will be allowed to spoil the land. There will be no slaves in Wano." Tama remembered past moments where someone said, "Just today at the factory, another 4 died, It's every man for himself. Another person questioned, "Who's going to tell her?" The poor girl. "Listen, Tama, this is very difficult to say, but I'm afraid your father and mother are." Tama said, "Mommy, Daddy, rest in peace. I'll be okay on my own." After that, Tama started to sell hats to earn a living, but people already had caps, and she was unable to sell most of hers. However, one day, someone came and said, "I'll take a hat, please." Tama was happy, and the man said, "You are an orphan. Just bear with it. Only a few more years until the day that powerful samurai called the Kozuki return and vanquish the ogres for good." Tama was filled with happiness and said, "Is it true? I'll bear with it then. I'll be okay." The scene returns to the present, and Tama hugs Nami with joy, tears of happiness streaming down her face. Nami embraces her and shares in her happiness. Tama remembers Luffy's words. "It'll be a place where you can eat as much as you want, every single day." Back in town, the voice continued, "Orochi's wicked rule and the threat of Kaido are gone for good. We found strong and faithful companions at sea, and as part of the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance, we launched a raid upon Onigashima." The person raised his sword and proclaimed, "Kaido, Orochi, the Animal Kingdom pirates, every evil that plagues our fair land has been vanquished." People couldn't believe what was happening. They started crying tears of joy, saying, "They beat those monsters? That horrible Orochi is no more?" Captain Kidd, meanwhile, was angry with the word alliance, while people continued to cry tears of joy. The voice continued, "And we will never forget the sacrifice of those brave souls who paved the way for this raid." Suddenly the voice said, "Kinemon, I have run out of things to say. What do I do now?" Kinemon replied, "Just keep going. Bluff your heart out." Luffy's past words were remembered. "What are you, Momo? Just a figurehead? Is there a single thing left in the world to be scared of?" Meanwhile, people were overjoyed and appreciating the alliance. The voice's speech continued, "My father gave me a name that means invincible. Under my rule, this parched and ruined land will turn into a paradise on earth. Lend me your strength, and let us work toward this end together. I have traveled 20 years to save you all. From this day on, I, Kozuki Momonosuke, will lead the land of Wano." The panel revealed an adult Momonosuke, wearing a cape and carrying a sword, resembling his father and becoming the new Shogun of Wano. With his tremendous speech, the samurai started crying tears of joy, feeling proud. As people were happy, Momonosuke self-talked, "Mother, I will keep my promise. Father, I will follow in your footsteps." The samurais continued to cry tears of joy. Sanji, Yamato, Tama, and Nami, everyone watching this, were filled with happiness. People exclaimed with joy, "The true Shogun has returned at last. We've been awaiting you for so long, Lord Momonosuke." The narrator declared, "And when the warrior at last sheathed his blade, the sky of the day to come danced with spinning, fluttering petals. This is the land of samurais. Here, under the night blossoms, stands a handsome man of 8, blessed with great dedication, mercy, and a level of strength that can be forgiven. This is the birth of the man who would later be known around the world as the great Shogun of Wano, Kozuki Momonosuke." And the chapter